We've talked recently about separation. We've talked about separation in regards to separation of ourselves from roles that we have maintained, held, and even created stories about ourselves around. And so, as part of this process that we are going through, our ascension and our transformation, part of this is separation from these roles. We also talked a little bit about, not too long ago, we talked about an event that could potentially really highlight the separation amongst the collective. And certainly, I believe that that is brought to us in more than just one event. But the energy of separation right now is so intense. And I noticed a shift in the energy from Tuesday to Wednesday. You guys may have noticed it in my energy in the video yesterday compared to the video on Tuesday. The message I received this morning from my guides was that so many of us that are in a position and in an energetic state that allows us to transmute difficult and challenging energies. We're working through a lot of that yesterday. The most important thing to say, and I think for us to understand, is that separation begins within us. And the more that we are embodying the truth of who we are and accepting all aspects of self, so that we are then able to accept and acknowledge and have unconditional love for, forgiveness, compassion for everyone else out in the collective, for all experiences, all beliefs, all opinions. It doesn't mean we have to agree. It doesn't even mean that we need to be in conversation with it if we don't necessarily agree. And it doesn't mean that we as individuals don't have our own opinions. But what it means is that I can hold my opinion and you can hold your opinion, and we don't ever have to argue. There doesn't have to be conflict. My guides often say, and you guys hear me say this a lot, what are you going to choose? Because ultimately, all of this boils down to our choice. And we can choose to focus on the separation. We can choose to use certain events as proof of wrong on one side or the other. We can choose to see the separation as proof of how horrible humanity is. We can choose to say, this world is a brutal and a terrible place. Or we can choose and I'm pausing because, as you guys, I'm sure, are doing, you're seeing all aspects of it. You're seeing all sides of it. And we can see all sides and still choose unconditional love. And still choose compassion and forgiveness. That is Christ consciousness. And we can still choose acceptance and to love our brothers and sisters, regardless what their beliefs are, because ultimately, politics doesn't mean shit. Excuse my French. It doesn't. It doesn't. Unless you bring it into your daily experience. So what are you going to choose? Are you going to choose to leave behind that story of politics and of how, because politics is inherently separation. So if you continue to engage in those conversations, okay, that's your choice. And know that you're putting your energy into the separation. And I know that's difficult to wrap our heads around because we want to stand up and the thing is, we don't have to engage in the politics in order to protect children. We don't have to engage in the politics in order to make our community safe. We don't have to engage in politics in order to support someone who is in need. We don't have to. So what are we going to choose? What are we going to choose? I refuse to believe that humanity is horrible, that we're a brutal species, and that this world is a terrible, terrible place. It makes me emotional just even saying those words because that is not my belief. That's what those who stay in power through keeping us separate want us to believe. And that's what we've been sold for a very, 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 very long time. So what are you going to choose? Because that's what you're going to experience. And that's the energy that you're putting out into the collective, out into the world. If we believe that this world is a terrible place, then where's hope? Where's the unconditional love? Where's the forgiveness? Where is the Christ consciousness? Those two things do not go together. They're opposites. I know this is kind of a heavy message. I didn't really intend for it to be this heavy, but this is obviously what needed to be said. And I hope it's heard. And I hope even more that it's taken into your heart. And that when you choose love, you're speaking on that. Because there are a lot of voices out there that are speaking on separation and conflict. So when you're speaking on love, make sure you're speaking it out loud. Even if your voice shakes, even if your voice trembles, even if it comes with tears. When you're choosing love, make sure in some way, it doesn't have to be like this. Not everybody is called to do this, but make sure that you're speaking it out loud. Even if that means standing in front of your mirror in your bathroom at home and speaking it to yourself, speak it out loud. Speak it to the people you care about. And you can speak it in frequency. You can speak it in tone. You can speak it through your compassion and your understanding and your forgiveness. And by holding space for others who you know do not agree with you. That's unconditional love. And that, my friends, is New Earth. New Earth is not about all of us believing the same thing and everyone is holding hands and skipping through the fields. That is not New Earth. Well, actually, we might be holding hands and skipping through the fields, but we still have our own opinions and we still disagree. I guess that is New Earth then, isn't it? It's when we're able to disagree and still hold hands and still sit at the table together and have conversation. Not argument, conversation. All right, I think that's it. Although if you happen to be local to the Columbia, South Carolina area, I'm going to do a meditation this Saturday. It'll be Saturday afternoon, maybe early evening, probably early evening, actually. I will post the event once I get that created. I'll get that created probably later today. It might be tonight. Today is Thursday, September 11th. Here in the United States, it's kind of a heavy day. Can be, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Yes, there are some horrible things that happened on this day 24 years ago. But what are we choosing right now? What are we choosing right now? We can honor the people whose lives were lost by choosing love and joy and happiness now. And that's how we heal the things of the past. And that's how we heal the things of the future. Because we're spreading that energy out into the collective. We're at the locus point, so we're spreading it into the past and we're spreading it into the future because all of that exists right now. So what are we choosing? What are you going to choose? All right. I kind of got off topic. The meditation on Saturday will be about choosing love. It'll be about choosing peace. And we will connect into the grid of Mother Earth and into her original ley lines. And we will spread those frequencies and the tones associated with them across Mother Earth and then out into the collective. Because our words are powerful. Our frequency is even more powerful. But words have frequency. The words themselves matter. Okay, that's enough. I'll get off my soapbox. These things needed to be said, and my guides were we need to talk about it. We need to talk about it. All right, I think that's it for now. I'm sending you guys so much love. I appreciate you being here. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining us. If you've been here before, thank you so much for continuing to show up, for continuing to be in this space with me and all the rest of us. I love you all, and thank you. I have great gratitude for all of you and your presence here, and gratitude that you are also walking this path alongside me. Much love to you. I will see you tomorrow.